Alright, so I often read about how people are a little bit confused as to what the difference is between the Rap 4 magazine and the MILSIG magazine, both running their round collar V-necks. The main difference, excluding the internals part of the magazine, is that the Rap 4 magazine has 6 smaller ball bearings, and the MILSIG collar has 3 bigger ball bearings. And in my personal experience, the biggest issue I've had with the Rap 4 magazine is that smaller paintballs, particularly if you're shooting like G.I. Joes or, some of those really tiny paints that are like way below. If you would probably bore them at 672 or 679 in that range. Is when you're storing them upside down, they will roll out because the ball bearings are just, they're not that big, and the follower pushes them, and if it's just upside down, it'll just roll out, if you're really unfortunate. And if you're running like a fast mag or a quick draw pouch, those are really, really hard to get out. And if it's chambered inside the gun, what happens is that when the spring's depressed, the bottom ball pushes up against the one that's chambered in there, and depending on how unfortunate you are, it will pop out a little bit, and when the bolt comes through, it'll just go and slice it right through. And I have not had a single good luck running my Rap 4 mags. It's the reason why I stopped using them. However, the MILSIG mag in itself isn't all pretty and good luck, right? With the MILSIG 19 round collars, and I believe it's the same thing with 20 rounds, is that if you have an oblong shaped paintball, ones that are not nice and circular, they get stuck. And that'll result in a misfeed, and depending on how far that paintball is, stuck, if it's past its halfway point, it's going to get chopped right through, and then you're going to be left with an ugly mess, which is bothersome. And so, however, I've had more problems with this simply because every single round, if it's a small paintball, is going to get stuck or have a misfeed or get jammed and not work well. However, down where I am in Vancouver, BC, we shoot a lot of small bangs. Where particularly in my local field, there's a lot of cheap paint too, and it gets stuck, right? And you get a misfeed. Luckily, I haven't had any breaks, but that can change, right? So that brings me to the new Paradigm Pro Square Head magazine. Now these the current ones are only designed to be used with the Paradigm Pro, but the big advantage to them is that, first of all, the head is made of polymer. So unlike these two round ones, I think you can notice here, right there, there's a slight curve there. That's from it just being ejected and just hitting the ground and getting the lips dented. With this one, that's not going to be an issue because it's full plastic. It's not relying on that on the head or the collar to do anything. What's new is that it has this bar, which, when both sides fully comes out, lets the follower push the paintballs through. And I've been shooting my Paradigm Pro every single week since I've got it, and I've shot paint that I normally wouldn't shoot, which has been really old, and shot no problem because they don't get stuck anymore, which is a huge advantage. Just not having to worry about misfeeds. It's truly amazing. A lot of people have talked about their Paradigm Pro chopping bad paint and all that, and it's actually not bad paint they're chopping. It's actually really brittle paint that they are chopping. I'm not sure if that's related to the feed or the gun itself, but I've been shooting some really terrible paint. I mean, maybe not extremely bad paint, but stuff that I normally wouldn't put in my old 19 round magazines. So just having that safety in mind is a huge bonus, right? Because the magazine relies on this full bar action, depressing one side isn't going to release anything, depressing the other. You need both sides depressed, and the chances of both of them being depressed when you're putting it in your pouch, or you're fumbling around when you're shifting it, you know, you're not gonna lose any balls. At least I have not yet lost any balls. Yeah, you know, that's really the biggest advantage the square head has. It's also cheaper to replace it. So if you do manage to break it, you know, you don't have to dish out the $14 or something for it. These are almost half price. I think that's about $6.50, around that range. I'll have to check again. But yeah, there you go. You know, Rap 4 magazine, MILSIG magazine, and the new MILSIG Paradigm Pro square head magazine. And I hope that clears up some confusion.